Why should they now believe that after their experience with PDP and after what they can see, as Imoni said, across 23 states of Nigeria, why should they put their trust in another PDP candidate?
Well, Aisha, if you go through the history of what we have in Benin today, all the people that were in PDP, the key players in the PDP of 8 years, and have moved to a new platform in ACN. Talk about the DG of Adam Soshomole's campaign organization. He was SSG. He was also the chief of staff. Name them. A roll call. Even those that are holding political appointments, they just look for new platforms to cheat our people. And that is the pain. And I believe that I'm coming with a brand new PDP, rebranded, ready to deliver. I may not want to start analyzing or putting in place the things that were achieved during that process. And don't forget, it was the first test of democracy.
8 years?
Well, I will say so. 8 years may not have been, but I want to tell you that during that period, those who are now in ACN were then in the same PDP. So we're likely to have another period of lack of performance. Let me tell you, you see, democracy is rulership from the people. They gave you their mandate. And when you sign the dotted line, you are signing a contract, a social contract with them. And you see, security of the people and the welfare of the people is the purpose of governance in this country. It's provided for in the Constitution. And so for leaders, it should be their priority when they sign that contract to make sure that they deliver. Otherwise, they will have failed.
All right, General, we'll be going on a short break now. But before we go on this short break, very quickly, you just talked about the PDP as a new PDP. You pride yourself now as a brand new PDP. Because, like you said, a number of those who were there in the previous 8 years have now moved on to other political platforms. Yeah. And very many people wonder, what is really new about the new PDP? Since we continue to see the same old faces that were there in the previous 8 years of what had been described as years of the locusts in Edo State. What is new in the new PDP?
When I came on board, if you look at the...
Apart from you.
Well, the old faces are there, but there is a rebranded atmosphere. Everybody has a stake in the new PDP. The fractions, those that were in different factions have now come together. That is the first sign of the fact that the PDP is new. We heard primaries after the congresses. There were no congresses elsewhere. The primaries were free and fair. It was televised live. And a candidate emerged, acceptable at all levels. I believe that with the manifesto I've put on board, where I have said I will declare emergency on security, education, healthcare, and above all, to make sure that we can quickly turn around the fortunes of the state in a situation where there's going to be a human face to leadership, there's going to be transparency, honesty, and above all, accountable to the people. And I think that is the new PDP we are coming on board with.
All right, we'll talk a lot more about the new PDP in a moment. We'll take a short break. We're back. It's Edo Decides 2012.
What if the better Oshompi don't reduce all workers' tax. Even school fees, we don't reduce them. Leave that matter. Who be Mumu? He thinks that just the workers not get sense. So after he don't suffer us to pay big tax for a long time, now election don't come now. Now he knows he go reduce them. Then pay us salary with one hand. And if I use big tax collector with another hand, he thinks that we be Mumu. If we vote him again, he go make us refund the money with the kind big tax we never see before. And this school fees will reduce, so he go increase them again. If you do like us, why not reduce them before election? That's not talk, Biliso. But what we go do now? Bam! Teachers, students, and all workers of Edo State, make we not fall mugu to this wayo. We don't suffer rich. Make we change this government and vote person where go pay us the true national minimum wage and remove this big tax with them till they cheat us. This person at Charles IRA, Bros Charlie, he ready to put smile back to the face of all workers for Edo State. Vote Charles IRA for governor. Vote the new PDP. Edo State workers. Now our only opportunity to end suffer be this. So this not true talk. Area, we don't hear.
Welcome back. It's Edo Decides 2012, and very much here with us is the PDP candidate for the July 14th governorship election in the state, General Charles AIT. General, thank you so much for your time. Now, let me push the topic we were discussing before we went on the break a little bit further. There are those who think that the political irresponsibility that the PDP displayed in the 9.5 years that is spent in office will not simply go away because the General Ariabere is now the governorship candidate of the party, or if he becomes governor, now gives a new face and a new look to the PDP.
I've always put this across to people that there is always a character built within the armed forces. I believe from the background I'm coming from, very structured, disciplined background of the military. And don't forget that in other developed world, most of the times they believe that a leader should have gone through the military before he takes the realm of office of leadership. This is the character I intend to bring into PDP in such a way that the interest of the people who govern, the interest of the people who lead comes first. And that is exactly what leadership is all about, what governance is all about. And I believe we can put this in place in the present day PDP. Have a well-crafted manifesto and implement it to the letter based on the resources available to the state. And that's exactly what I'm going to do.
But, Major General, with all due respect, many people, many Nigerians, and even people internationally believe that the role of the military in Nigerian government is part of the reason why we are where we are today in terms of institutionalization of corruption, the fact that our democracies are still very young, corruption of many of our different institutions from the judiciary to even now the legislature, the fact that, I mean, there's so many things that have been laid at the foot of the military regime in Nigeria. And how do you respond to that? I mean, for me, I almost believe that you're falling under two bad umbrellas, so to speak. You're going to carry the sins of PDP and the sins of being a military man.
Aisha, for the history of the military involvement in politics in Nigeria can be shared by both the civilians and the military itself. It was bad business for the Nigerian army or the armed forces coming into governance because the worst civilian government is still better than the best military government. Having said that, most of the military involvement in politics had its civilian content. I'll just give you an example. After a successful military coup, you pick a lieutenant colonel who is in his middle experience level and you deploy him, say, to a state like Edo State. He arrives at Edo State with probably his ADC and his chief security officer. Every other person that works with him is a civilian. So where is the blame coming from?
Well, like the Americans say, the buck stops on the desk of the chief executive.
And don't forget, a leader is as good as all his advisors put together. Who were his advisors? They were civilian commissioners. They're from Edo State. They didn't come from another state. And it's their duty to make sure that their society is developed. That was the basic. And if it didn't work, the blame will not stop with the military. And I can give you an example. A lieutenant colonel was posted here. I won't mention names. He picked a secretary to government. And that was it. The commissioners were selected from the state. And I know. Would they allow him work? You see, this is a give and take thing.
It was called a military government.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And that is because it was a successful coup. The coups that were not successful were not called military coups. Were not called military government.
Right.
You see, we must draw a line. We have arrived at a stage now where we must allow history to take its course on military incursion in Nigerian politics. And I'm happy. And that's one of the reasons why I came out, because from my experience while I was in Washington, there were these issues that had to do, and I know the way the American government took it, especially against the military, to make sure that there was proper democratization in Nigeria. And God was on our side. We came back on board in 1999, and since then, the military has remained in the barracks, trying to make sure that democracy succeeds in Nigeria. It was a process we had to go through. Don't forget that those who had military appointments were retired immediately in 1999. And those of us left behind were taken through a new process of subordinating ourselves to a democratic government. And since then, and I pray that democracy has come and democracy will last. And what I'm doing today is that I'm leaving uniform. I left uniform to come and contest for a democratic office. And I think it's a new beginning, a new awareness of a process that will be long-lasting.
Okay. Now the second leg of that question from Aisha is that you are carrying a second baggage, contesting on the platform of the PDP, that is seen by so many Nigerians not to have done too well since Nigeria's return to democratic rule.
Like I said, a government in a state is continual. We are beginning to develop, we are beginning to learn more. What I've come to experience with those states since I came on board is that our voting citizens are very aware. I have well over 5,000 fans on the Facebook. I have well over 50,000 volunteers for GC. And on Twitters, I'm on Twitters all the time. And I've discovered that they are very, very eager for a change. They are well-educated voters. Don't forget that those states we have so many graduates. The only pain is that they are walking the streets unemployed. So they are yearning for a change. There is now a need for a leader who is not ready to perform, not to even come near governance, because he is going to be lynched. What happened in Egypt should give you an example of what will happen here. A situation where you come into authority and you are not ready to deliver. What President Goodluck Jonathan is doing now at the federal level, creating the reform process, fast-tracking development. You can even see the roads. You can see the railroads, the schools, the UBEC. A lot of things are taking place in the reform process. And I think we should allow democracy to grow. Yes, the first 4 years of PDP in Edo State was not as it should have been. The people also had the opportunity to make a change or to give another chance for a change. The 1.5 years of Osombo government you're talking about, it was inundated by a legal process that ended up in bringing the ACN government in November 2008. And I want to let you know today that by the research I have, well over 48 of the leaders that are in ACN today were in the same PDP that we're talking about. And I believe that from November 12, 2012, there is going to be a development in Edo State that will take care of the interest of the people of the state. And you are going to see a transformation that will quickly bring Edo State from the doldrum it is now to one of the best states in Nigeria in the next 2 years of governance.
You say government is a continuum.
Yes.
So we assume that along that same line, it is right to say that, yes, the PDP has had 9.5 years of rule in Edo State.
Yeah.
I'm curious, you mentioned, and with your background, you said you're going to declare a state of emergency in security in different areas, but can you tell us what would that entail, especially for security?
Well, for security, the